All right, what's up YouTube? It's been a few weeks since I've had a chance to upload anything. It's been kind of busy, but today we're going to do some work on the MR2. Let's give you a look at what we'll be doing today. So here's how the interior is right now. I had to get a passenger seat because I had actually sold them in my Corolla that I had, but I did get this fixed back, modified the stock bracket so that it would bolt down into that. You can see everything as is, carbon fiber center panel, all of that. So if we come over and look at what today's project is, nothing too crazy. We've got a few things here. This is a legitimate, it's older, but it's a legitimate TRD short shifter. This was actually sourced from the MR2 guru, good old Harry over there at Phoenix Motorsports. He hooked this up for me, TRD knob, got a little bit of wear on it, but everything's there. This is the Tools R Us engine prop rod. These are the brackets for it, and then just putting on the spark plug well cover. You can see here with the supercharged engine swap, when you put the supercharged engine lid on, it doesn't actually line up. The bracket does not line up with the latch assembly here, so it doesn't actually stay shut. So I'll have to get hood pins or something if I really care about that. But more than anything, the stock prop rod doesn't work for this, so you've got to install one of these on here so you can actually have this stand up on its own. Otherwise, that's all it does. The last big thing is, while we're taking out some of the interior for the shifter assembly, we're going to go ahead and install this roll bar. This was also sourced from Harry, Phoenix Motorsports, and it's a bolt-in pulled out of a first gen. I've got all the bracket, or the plates rather, so we'll go ahead and drill some holes, hopefully get this in today without too much trouble, while we are also working on the interior. One of the things we've got to work on is something's going on with the radio. It was working when this car was parked. Well, before it was parked. I don't remember exactly what happened, but there we go. All right, ignition's on, and we have no power to the radio CD player, no power to the clock either. Now, what's also happened is when I put the center console in, it bypasses the little pocket that would normally be here, and the cigarette lighter, which is one of these areas, and I have it here. And my theory is that since this is not plugged in or grounded, at least, that's probably why I'm not getting any power to the center stack here. So while we're gonna pull the seats out, pull this out, get everything ready to put the roll bar in, I'll go ahead and pull the rest of this apart here. I've said before, there's a wiring mess going on in here. I've got a new clock and all that, so we'll see if we can fix all this wiring today. So yeah, let's just dive into this. All right, so test fitting the roll bar. Everything looks like it'll fit pretty well. We will, looks like the driver's seat may fit in here all right. Passenger seat may not be able to recline all the way, but should be all right. But the bar looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna spend a little bit of time and get some holes drilled, and we'll check back in here in a minute. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and install this prop rod. Now I took a quick glance at the instructions, and it seems pretty self-explanatory from what it looks like. You'll get a bracket with a bolt on it. You can kind of see it wiggling around here. This is gonna be for the bottom. The top one will be this one here, and it goes on the top bolt. You can see there's a large hole drilled out there. So we'll take that large hole, match it up here, and bolt this in. Let's go ahead and get this top bracket done. All you need, it looks like, is just 10 millimeter. See if this bolt is long enough. All right, as any good Toyota owner should, I found some extra hardware. This one is like maybe 3 threads, maybe 2 threads longer, but it's got a different washer on it as well, so it actually utilizes more of the threads. Let's just make sure that it fits on here. I'm not sure if this was different because of this engine lid, and maybe they use different hardware, so you may not have this problem. Yeah, let's go again. We'll go ahead and get this up and tight. All right, the prop rod is on. We did have a little bit of trouble with this bolt here. This is the one that I swapped out for a longer one, but that one was not long enough. I only probably got 2 or 3 threads in, and right as I was tightening it, it popped it out. So I found another one, happened to have a 12 mil head, but it was the same thread pitch. It actually got all the way through there, tightened up nicely. Everything is nice and tight here. You can actually see the movement. It's got pretty good force to it, and it shuts, stays shut. And then pull it open, and there you go, holds itself. So yeah, that's one of my favorite modifications to do on an MR2. That way it's a little easier to work on. So yeah, now let's go drill some holes. All right, jumping all around, we're gonna go ahead and replace the stock 87 shifter assembly with the used TRD shifter assembly, which again, serviced from MR2 Guru or Phoenix Motorsports, Mr. Harry Davis. So what you can see here, I'm not going to video everything. You just got the bolt here for the linkage. It looks like this did not have the cotter pin, so that's awesome. So we'll go ahead and replace that while we're here. We'll pull that out. These little tabs come out here. I've already started on a little bit. The cables will slide out. Pull out these 4 bolts here for the most part. This whole shifter thing will come out. So if you want to compare the two side by side, you can see the original one versus the TRD one, and even though it's at an angle a little bit, there we go, you can see it's clearly a different shifter. The threads here, right here, end up just about where the threads start here, so it drops it down about an inch or so, nothing too drastic. And then we've got our TRD shift knob to put on this. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pop this off and get the new one on. All right, sit rep. So earlier we had a huge rainstorm, and it lasted for about 2 or 3 hours. So I went and had dinner, ran some errands, came back and kind of worked a little bit in the night. So here's where we are. As you can see, the interior is back together. The TRD shift knob is on, along with the TRD actual short shifter assembly, and it actually looks really good. I'm excited to actually drive it, but it looks like it's going to be really nice shift, so we'll see how that does. Now, I did also get the wiring at least working for the radio, but as you'll see in another video, while I've got the power working, all the wiring crap is still a mess. I took out a bunch of it. I took out several feet of wiring, but I've tucked some back away, and at the moment I don't have sound coming out of the speakers. So without spending too much time on it, I just put it back together and I'll come back to it later. Other stuff is I got the roll bar in. So the roll bar is in. I'm going to come back through and redo some of the hardware so I can actually get some longer ones. The ones that go into the engine bay need to be about probably, I don't know, 4 inches long. Ones in the floor can be a little bit shorter. So I'm going to probably run some longer hardware because some of them are a little tight. I actually got the center console to fit. I had to take the door off of it, the top door, but I did get this to actually fit back on there, and refitted the camera mount, so that's on there. This just needs to be cleaned up and stuff now, but we are back together for now, and we'll continue the progress. Well guys, I hope you liked the content this time around. We got a little bit done with this MR2, but we still have a lot more to go. Still left to go are rotors and pads. We've got power slot rotors, the EBC pads. We're still waiting on 2 rotors. We've also got a full Prothane bushing kit to go for this car, which is mostly what it needs, as it has a little bit of a loose front end, so no real hard driving on this car yet. We also have a crank pulley, oversized crank pulley, to go on to overboost the supercharger a little bit. So again, thanks for watching the video. Hope you liked the content. Feel free to tell me what you liked in the comments. Subscribe for more content. Thanks. Bye.